What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have some important updates to go over today. There's some major beef going on between Joe Biden and Vladimir Putin. We also have some sad news of a giant plane crash in China. And Powell had some words today. Overall, the market was all over the place. It moved up a little bit, then it came down a little bit, but it was all over the place. And I would say energy was like the main sector today. So with that being said, let us know what stocks you are watching in the comments down below. There's a good chance we'll cover them in tomorrow's video. But Tom, let's get right into it.
Yeah, like we talked about yesterday, Mike, the tensions between Russia and the United States are not getting any better. I know Powell made the SPY go down pretty largely midday, but early morning, there were some pretty bad reports coming out where Russia actually is hitting back on Joe Biden. Biden called Vladimir Putin a war criminal last week, and Putin said that this is actually going to have our relations on the verge of rupture. So this is pretty big. You know, I know that obviously our relations haven't been too good with Russia lately, to say the least. But in the end, you know, if the relations continue to get worse and spiral out of control, we might see some pretty bad things start coming across the board, Mike. And we did see the SPY dip down right at market open around whenever this news came out. So maybe that had an influence on it, maybe not. But either way, this is a pretty big event. As we know, the fighting in Ukraine is just getting worse and worse. And I saw some stuff today also about pretty much where the Kremlin demands Ukraine to surrender over one of their cities. Here's another article about that. It's not good to see these relations on the verge of rupture, in Vladimir Putin's own words. And that was pretty funny, Mike, how you said they're kind of hitting back at each other there, because, you know, we obviously have two leaders of the most powerful countries in the world, and it's just insane to see how they're fighting like this.
Yeah, very true. So looking more at the stock market today, it was a very boring day, Tom. Stocks did not really move too much, but we did have like the energy sector just explode. You know, companies like OXY and ExxonMobil and even CCJ in that uranium/nuclear industry all moved up. Everything else, though, didn't really do anything.
Yeah, it really didn't. Energy really stole the show. Like you said, Oxy had a great morning, up 8.39%. I will note that gold also did pretty well today. You know, GLD was up 0.76%. Nothing explosive, but it's definitely good to see it back on the uptrend this morning. You know, there was a couple of other stocks that did pretty good today. I know the defense sector did well with all the bad news between the United States and Russia. Lockheed ended up 3.2%, Northrop ended up 4%, and General Dynamics had a pretty good day also. So the defense stocks are also coming into play. And Mike, I did notice that some of the big chip stocks like AMD, they were all over the place today. It looked like a heartbeat monitor, but at least they ended up closing up here in the green, which was nice.
Very true. And then I know right when the market opened this morning, Boeing stock was just getting destroyed. Tell us more about what happened with the Boeing plane crash.
Yeah, this is not good. It's coming out of the country of China, and this crash is not good by any means, Mike. 132 people were on board. The number of deaths is currently unknown, but I've seen some reports that say that obviously with the plane crashing as rapidly as it did, they said that it pretty much fell 29,100 feet within like 1 or 2 minutes there. So that's pretty bad to see. Obviously, there's a low chance for many survivors in this one. Obviously, prayers go out to their families and everything like that. It is over in China. It's not in the United States, but obviously it's still a pretty bad thing to see. And Mike, Boeing stock ended up really tanking down this morning. I know they had some issues with some planes over the past couple of years, specifically those 737. So we're going to have to see how these investigations end up playing out, because if it does show that it was Boeing's fault, we might see the stock get a lot worse.
Very true. Boeing has been suffering a lot over the years. Like you said, they had all those problems with their 737 Maxes, and it's just been a disaster lately. You know, like sometimes they go on an uptrend for like a week or two, but it's been a lot more a downtrend than uptrend.
Yeah, it really has. I know that they hit those lows down there around $89, popped up to highs of $275. Now they're all the way back down to $185. So the volatility has definitely been there. And this also it kind of bled over into the other airline stocks, Mike, like Delta ended up down 4.2%. We also saw American starting to move down. I know that obviously it might just be creating some overall selling pressure in the airline market, but it's never good to see it bleeding over to these stocks either.
Very true. And then, Tom, I know there's some more news with like Biden and NATO and Poland. So what are like the main events to watch related to that?
Yeah, Biden's going all over the place this week. So first off, on Wednesday, he's going to be going to an EU summit in Brussels to show solidarity between NATO countries. Hopefully this ends up sending a good message to Vladimir Putin. Like we talked about earlier in the video, Mike, they've been kind of hitting back at each other a little bit. Biden did call Putin a war criminal. So we'll have to see if he kind of keeps up with that type of talk or not. But either way, on Friday, he's going to then be going to Poland, which is really close to Ukraine. So we'll have to see what ends up coming of that. I know that summit should be pretty big Wednesday. And also the thing on Friday is also going to be big. So keep watching out for more news to come through the headlines. Hopefully we see some pretty nice news, Mike. I know the market was doing very well last week, and we didn't really see too many Russian updates come through. But this week, I've been seeing a little bit of increased headlines. So hopefully something's not starting to happen. And like we talked about, there's been a little bit of increased tensions with the Kremlin kind of demanding surrender of one of those cities over there.
Very true. And then on top of that, we have Powell speaking later in the week, and he spoke today, kind of driving the markets to the downside. So what's going on with good old Powell?
Yeah, he's going to be speaking again Wednesday at the panel on emerging challenges for central bank governors in a digital world. I know it's been a bit of a tongue twister there, Mike, but today he's had a pretty good economic outlook at the National Association for Business Economics. And it was pretty cool, Mike. I know that he did make the market go down, and he did come off more hawkish than usual. And pretty much what he said is that the Feds are going to use the tools necessary to keep inflation down. So if inflation keeps spiraling out of control, they're going to keep raising rates and using their other tools necessary to try to push inflation back to the downside. So the market did not like that today. We actually saw the VXX pop up around 4%, which was crazy. And like you said, the SPY really sold off intraday all the way down to like that 441 support down there. But I will say we had a pretty nice close as we roared back to the upside.
There we go. So speaking of volatility, I know there are a couple stocks reporting earnings this week. What are like the major ones to look out for?
Yeah, Nike's actually reporting them after hours today, Mike. They're actually not doing too much right now, but yeah, Nike's reporting today. And then we have some big ones still coming up with Adobe tomorrow and after hours. But more importantly, I think Carnival Cruise Lines tomorrow before open is going to be pretty big, Mike. As we know, these cruise lines kind of fell off today in a pretty big way. CCL was down 2.6%. So maybe we'll see some good news with cruise lines and they'll start to pop back up. But then also on Wednesday, we have PHUN, and Thursday is going to be pretty big with NEO and after hours there. So we do have some pretty big ones this week, even though the earnings season is starting to slow down.
There we go. So good stuff there. NEO is like the main one to watch later in the week. So keep that one on your radar. But Tom, looking more at the SPY, what are the main levels you have for everyone for the rest of the week?
Yeah, the SPY today it touched 446 almost two different times and then started falling off. Right at market open, we did extend up a little bit above that, hitting right around 446.50 before falling back. But in the end, 446 is a pretty big resistance here. We failed to break above it Friday, and now we're failing to break above it again today. If we see a nice move up above that, and then also up above 448, I think we might see the SPY start to go back on a nice uptrend here. But we honestly hit a pretty big support intraday to the downside, Mike. 441 has been a big level over the past couple days. I know I talked about this one a lot in last night's video too. You can see on Friday that we had like 3 or 4 touches there right around 441. So if we break below that tomorrow, I think we might see a bit of an accelerated sell-off, but hopefully we continue this nice upwards momentum.
Good to know. So Tom, do you have any final thoughts or any favorite plays you're watching?
Yeah, like I talked about earlier, the defense stocks were doing pretty good. We had Lockheed Martin start to pop back to the upside over the past couple of days. I'm definitely going to keep this one on the radar. And Mike, I cannot forget about Tesla. They've had a pretty nice move over the past couple of weeks, and they started consolidating a lot today, up here around 942. I know Tesla's a fan favorite, and it's just an awesome stock to watch. So looking at Tesla, they kind of had a lot of support today, right around 908. So I'm going to be watching that as a nice support on them. And then they hit that resistance up there around 940 today. So hopefully we see a nice move one way or the other. But I'm kind of waiting for some of these stocks to start to consolidate, Mike. Like, Tesla went from 755 all the way up to 942 within just 5 trading days. So I just want to convey, be careful with some of these stocks that are up right now. I feel like we might see a bit of a consolidation, but then later in the week, we might see a nice pop back up. But at least for a couple days, we might slow down a little bit.
Yeah, we will see. So I want to give a giant shout out to our member of the day, Keisha. Thank you so much, Keisha, for always being so positive and joining all the live streams. Guys, we go live every single morning at Market Open on the Stocked Up Live YouTube channel. The link for that will be in the description down below somewhere. Feel free to join us. We go live every single morning, and it's free. So why not join it and check it out? But Tom, look at that. Nike's popping up right now.
Yeah, Nike's a powerhouse. They're doing very well with earnings so far. The earnings just came out. It looks like the EPS did pretty good. We'll have to check out how their revenue and their outlook is in tomorrow's video. But so far, they're popping up in a major way, which is nice to see. Like I said, Nike's a powerhouse, Mike, and they've been pulling back quite a bit over the past couple months. So I'm happy to see them going back on the uptrend here.
Sounds good. So with that being said, let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. With the first one, we have X to the upside.
Yeah, U.S. steel, these commodities are on fire. X actually broke above a pretty good resistance at the end of the day here. Go ahead and make them break above 35.61 for tomorrow.
All right, with the next one, we have Run, but to the downside.
Yeah, RUN, go ahead and make them actually fall below 29.79.
With the last one, we have Netflix, also to the downside.
Yeah, Netflix just had that type of pullback that we saw out of a lot of stocks today. Go ahead and make them break below 368.50.
All right, so we are watching Netflix and Run for potential day trades to the downside tomorrow, only if they break below the levels Tom listed. And we are watching X for a potential day trade to the upside tomorrow, only if it breaks above the level Tom listed. But besides that, Tom, the market is kind of in this consolidation phase, in my opinion. You know, we have a lot of stocks that are pretty overbought over the past couple of days, especially some of these growth stocks like Square. You know, Square is up over 50% in like the past 5 trading days. So guys, be aware of some overbought stocks right now. Yes, it's awesome to see some of these stocks that have been selling off for months finally pop up, but please be aware that some of them are getting to overbought levels in the short term. And in the past, when this happens, they normally consolidate. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, definitely be careful with that. That's my main fear for this week, Mike, is that traders are going to get too bullish too quickly, and then they might get caught out in the open. So definitely be careful. I could see a pullback out of some of these EV stocks as well, like Lucid and Rivian. They've also been ripping up from lows along with a lot of the other stocks. So just be careful, guys. We might see a bit of consolidation. Hopefully by Friday, though, we see things start to turn around. And who knows, maybe we'll see some nice comments from Powell on Wednesday, and maybe Biden at that summit will have some renewed momentum for us.
Very true. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you are new here, make sure to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. We're always adding new updates and features and a bunch of things to the channel and the Stocked Up Discord. Also check out our free trading community. The link for that will be in the description down below. It'll say like free stock chat. It's completely free. You can chat with Tom and myself and a bunch of other great people. Besides that, thank you guys so much for watching.